coworkers are not your friends. Either you fully agree with that statement because you've learned the hard way, or you're rushing to your keyboard to tell me how wrong I am because you haven't learned the lesson yet. So let's talk about the reasons why coworkers are not your friends. Have you ever worked in a company where everyone that you worked with was really close? Not only did they spend time together for formal after-work activities like team building events, but it always seemed like people from work were choosing to spend time together, going to happy hour, trivia night, spending time together at the weekend. You might have been excited about this. Your job came with a group of friends. Great, right? But what happened when someone left the company, or when you left the company? You get removed from the team group text and all of a sudden your phone becomes much quieter. Naturally, you also see your work friends less because you're not spending more than 40 hours a week together in the office. Sure, at first you call each other, you text, you see each other, but they're busy, you're busy, and the time between those interactions gets further and further apart. Until one day you realize just how far apart you've drifted when you find out about their new job through a LinkedIn notification. This is to be expected with 98% of the friends that you make at work, because work friendships are situational. I'm not gonna lie, it sucks when this happens. I still have a bunch of old work friends that I miss, but life happens. While I think this is the saddest reason why coworkers can never really be your friends, it's not the most problematic reason. Because what can underlie a workplace friendship might sabotage your career and your wellness. I've got a theoretical situation for you. The promotion you've been working hard for finally opens up. You excitedly apply and you don't hold back from telling your work friends about it, which is how you find out that your work friend Haley also applied. There's only one spot open for this promotion. Haley's your friend and she knows how bad you want it. So how do you feel? This is something that has happened to so many of my clients. Some of them felt betrayed by Haley when this happens. For others, they felt a massive shift in the dynamic of the relationship because even if they weren't competing, they felt like Haley was competing with them. Haley made herself into the competition even though they had positioned themselves as the only and obvious choice for that promotion because they had been leveraging their UAQ. If you don't know your UAQ yet, go ahead and download my free UAQ Starter Kit. What's even more telling? What happens when one of you gets a promotion? When you get the promotion, will they truly be happy for you? If they get the promotion, can you truly be happy for them? No matter what the situation is with you and Haley, one thing that you will not be able to change from there on out is the office gossip that goes along with this. The you versus Haley narrative has been constructed. It's all anyone can talk about and everyone has taken a side. One of you is the victim, one of you is the villain, and you don't want to be either of those things. In the workplace, politics and power underlie each one of the relationships that you build. But perhaps in this situation, something more sinister was at play, and Haley isn't who you thought she was. Something we need to be honest about is the fact that people are going to work to get a paycheck. We also exist in a culture where people are trying to get promoted, make more money, and gain more influence. These desires themselves are not good or bad, they just are. However, how some humans choose to conduct themselves in order to achieve these desires is a whole other story. Like me, I know a lot of you think beyond yourself, and you're not always making decisions solely based on what's in your own best interest. And you also assume that other people conduct themselves this way. But this is not the reality. Human nature is self-protective, and most people will prioritize themselves. Don't believe me? Watch what happens when there's a bonus for a top performer or a Jimmy Choo sample sale in New York City. Things get wild. We also can't shy away from the fact that there is a small percentage of people who intentionally do harm out there. After all, corporate culture rewards characteristics that overlap with the symptoms of psychopathy. On the note of corporate culture though, there's something else we need to talk about. Ping pong tables and comfy couches. Free food. Annual employee retreats that are really just big parties camouflaged as corporate events. You have everything you need right here. There's no need to leave the office. Let's zoom out a little bit. For starters, are corporations subsidizing fun out of the goodness of their hearts? No. Because you'll notice the ping pong tables generally go unused. The free food is keeping you in the office with no excuse to leave so you can get more work done. And the after-work events and retreats for team building? Well, it's in the corporation's best interest for your coworkers to be your friends. Especially if it gets to a point that the majority of your social life is derived from the people that you work with. When it comes time for you to consider leaving your job, you're not just leaving your job. You're leaving your friends, You're leaving your social life. You're leaving your support system. With so much on the line, you're less likely to leave. I've also heard countless stories of this taken to an extreme level. Some of my former clients have even found themselves decreasing the amount of time that they spend with their friends and family outside of work because their professional relationships have taken over their whole lives. In addition, when work is the source of your social life, you're also probably going to work more. Because all your friends are staying late, you might as well too, right? Enmeshed relationships are something I have observed in almost every toxic workplace. Boundaries between coworkers, work, and life don't exist. This can result not only in codependency, where you're relying on your job for a lot more than a paycheck, it can cause an even bigger problem. You can end up relying on your job for your entire identity. When your work, social life, and status merge, they become the sole basis of your identity. What happens when it goes away? If I can find it, I'll drop the link in the comments, but it was a year or so ago, I read an article and it featured someone who had lost their job at a big tech company. And obviously she talked about how hard it was psychologically to lose her job. But what was really difficult for her was that her identity was entirely wrapped up in this job that she had, and recovering her self-identity was the hardest part of losing that job. I've also had clients that have been in extremely toxic work situations that have had a hard time leaving because their identity was constructed into their job. With burnout and toxic work culture on the rise, we really need to talk about this more. So what I want you to do now is go watch this video to untangle your identity from your job.